Yes. Welcome everyone to a quick impromptu live stream of the Tech and Chill show. So I wanted to kind of, come on board and see what everyone is saying tonight. Just a quick impromptu, just kind of see what's going on. I didn't get a chance to do the Tech and Chill show last week because I'm in a process of having to, do a couple of moves and stuff. So yeah, I thought let me just jump on quickly and try and just do a quick live stream and see whoever joins on tonight, see what's going on, see who's about tonight, see what's popping, see what's good. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone is having a splendid time and day, and hope everyone's been having a good week so far. Yeah, just really just wanted to kind of sit down, and as the title says, I wanted us to talk LG G7 and OnePlus 6, and yeah, actually a couple of other announcements from other companies as well in terms of what phones and stuff has been coming out and what devices have also been released and stuff. The Honor 10 got announced, and I had a chance to actually go into one of the in-store pop-up events that they were having in London, actually. Yeah, so I got to link up with and got to see Mr. Who's the Boss, Aaron himself there as well. We got talking and got seeing what was going on and stuff. Yeah, man, so definitely it was good. So a lot's been happening. There's a lot to talk about for sure, in terms of what's happening in the tech scene. so yeah, man, it's the world of tech is moving kind of quick at the moment, man. It's moving kind of quick at the moment. So let me see if what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use Restream.io to try and see if I can stream at the same time on YouTube as well as the Periscope, but it seems to be struggling on Periscope. It says my bitrate is too high, which is kind of strange. Let me see if I drop my bitrate, if it will allow it to connect. Let's see, apply. So let's see if the bitrate matches. I don't want it to kill the quality. Let's see, Restream.io. Yeah, so a lot's been happening, man. There was the OnePlus 6 event. Anyone that's joining in, let's see who else is joining in. Hello everyone. Hello so far. Hello everyone. Hopefully the live stream is coming out clear. Hopefully the audio is clear. Hopefully everything's clear. Definitely yeah, just wanted to kind of just jump in a quick live stream, man, say hi, see what everyone is saying, and kind of just discuss what's happening with all these product releases. Obviously LG G7 a couple of weeks ago. OnePlus 6 is the big one that people have seen this week for sure. and the day before the OnePlus 6 announcement was the Honor 10, and that's looking interesting as well. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk and kind of share my thoughts on the whole process of what's been happening with, you know, OnePlus and you know, Honor, and kind of just this mid-range sector. It seems like the mid-range sector in terms of the premium mid-range phones have really kind of like come into their own now. It seems like this is where the action is at, and OnePlus are coming in, you know, guns blazing when it comes to that. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see what the final outcome would be, and what people's outtake is going to be on, you know, what OnePlus are bringing to the table. You know, my thoughts on what LG is going to do or not going to do, or if they still have a fighting chance in this situation with whatever's happening with you know, these phone releases and the current trend that's going on with, you know, smartphone design. I think smartphone design is a very interesting thing at the moment. You know, I've seen some hints about what's going to happen with the Pixel 3 in terms of the Pixel 3 design, and the Pixel 3 design, if any indication of what Android P, the developer program, is definitely looking at in terms of you know, how the notifications are, it kind of basically gives a big indication that, you know, the next Pixel is going to have a notch. Seems to be the trend. It does seem to be the trend. So I wanted to share that conversation and, you know, have that discussion as well, and kind of get people's perspective and just, you know, talk to you guys and see what's going on with that. But wow, first I wanted to kind of touch on the OnePlus 6. I didn't get to go to the London event at the Copper Box Arena in East London, which was a shame, because initially I wasn't excited for the product itself, the OnePlus 6, because it's not because I'm not a fan of OnePlus products. It's just, I don't know how to put it. It's not that I'm not a fan of the OnePlus products. It's just I was more excited for the networking. You know, so many tech YouTubers, from smaller creators like my buddy, you know, Dave West, he got to go to the coverage, and I was actually meant to be going with him, but so many things happened in the process of, like, you know, work and other things, that I couldn't go. So by the time that I could actually go again, you know, the ticket was gone, and yeah, there was just so many different situations and stuff. So yeah, that I couldn't go in the end, which was a shame. It was a great opportunity to just network and link up with people and stuff. Again, originally I was still part of, like, the people that weren't really sold on the fact that OnePlus was charging to go to the event. You know, yes, most people that got the early bird £16 tickets, you know, didn't feel the pinch too much. But once the early bird tickets left, you know, you were left with, you know, £30 to pay for a full ticket, which I was just like, you know, Razer didn't do that with their Razer phone event. You guys are doing that, come on. And I was just hoping that there was going to be an incentive and a reason, you know, for the people that actually, how can I put it? For the people that actually bought tickets, I was hoping OnePlus were gonna, you know, incentivize them, give something back for that, you know. And yeah, they did in the end. So it was actually 2 products in which they announced, and that was quite surprising, because obviously when Carpe came onto stage, he said that there's going to be 2 product releases and 2 product announcements. And Bullets Wireless, £69, and yeah, they obviously have not tested them, but they looked very impressive, especially for the price of £69. Now, a lot of people were saying that truly wireless should have been the way to go, but to be honest, at that price, you know, you couldn't really expect them to have done a truly wireless earbud. So I'm not worried about that. They really do seem like they looked at everything that the Beats X was and improved on it, and then, you know, undercut the price, which I have no problem with. If it's got a good bass signature, because obviously the music that I listen to really has a lot of bass to it. If it has a good bass signature, and also good sound clarity in terms of trebles, highs and mids, especially with the bass, the lower frequency stuff, you know, because the music that I listen to kind of has that drum kick, that heavy bass and stuff, you know. My main thing that really got to me wasn't necessarily the quick charging feature or the dash charging feature. It was the magnetic pause on and off, because one of the most beautiful things about having a truly wireless earbud, like something like the Gear Icon X 2018, these are the ones that I'm using as my truly wireless earbuds, and I'm really starting to like them, to close to loving them, because within the week I've not charged them the whole week. I've only charged them now, and that kind of convenience is great, because when you're not using them, it's in a case, it's charging, and you know, you're in a situation where you're not having to worry about, you know, your battery life. You're not having to worry about the battery life. You're not having to worry about, you know, making sure that when it comes to that situation of needing them, you know, that you won't be able to use it, you know, which is good, which is the dreadful part of, it's the dreadful part of Bluetooth wireless that makes it very annoying, unfortunately. So for them to be able to negate that problem, where you can actually, you know, when they magnetically, oh goodness, I can't even say that word. When they magnetically touch both the earbuds together, and it stops recording, oh sorry, it stops playing music and it turns off, you're saving on battery. You know, you're saving on battery. You do not know, as someone that also uses the Beats X from Apple, you end up charging them all the time, because there isn't an auto off feature, which is annoying. You don't realize how irritating it is not having an auto off feature when you're sorry, just in focus here. You don't know how annoying it is to not have an auto off feature when you're actually trying to, you know, keep your battery life going for as long as possible, make it as usable as possible, you know. So that feature in itself, I was sold, because it mimics the ability to be able to conserve your battery. You may not be able to recharge it because it doesn't have a charging case like truly wireless would, but you can have the longevity of your battery going longer. So Bullets Wireless, I really want them. They look really cool. They look like something I'm really familiar with. I still prefer truly wireless earbuds if you're an earphone type of person, not a headphone type of person. But for the price, they're very competitive, and I hope the sound quality matches. But the convenience of that feature alone really just, you know, I was sold. You can launch, you know, Siri, or you can launch Google Assistant, depending on whether you're on an iPhone or an Android device. And the auto pause and resume is available on the OnePlus 6 or the OnePlus devices. So I need a bit more clarity on that, but I think that was the case. So Bullets Wireless was first, and then the OnePlus 6 itself. Now, OnePlus haven't, to me, done anything majorly revolutionary, right? I'm still. This is the first phone since the OnePlus X, if I remember right, since they've done like a all glass design with a metal frame, you know. So for them, it's new design territories, from the Soundstone designs that they had on the OnePlus 1 and the OnePlus 2, OnePlus 3 and 3T being metal designs, the OnePlus 5 and 5T being metal designs, which I prefer. Metal isn't necessarily as elegant. It's a very, still metal is a very, aluminium is a very premium feeling and looking material to use, and it's definitely a lot more durable. It's a lot more durable, you know, but it's not as elegant as glass, I guess, right? We can put it that way, that it's not as elegant as glass. Cool. So it not being as elegant as glass is it kind of takes away from the aesthetic, but it's still much more preferred. And again, you know, my buddy Dave always said that there is no rule book that says that if you use glass, you should have wireless charging. Definitely true. There isn't a rulebook. It enables it, the same as ceramic. Ceramic enables it, right? But the problem for me is just using glass as a means of an aesthetic, when as elegant as it is. I've noticed, for me personally, Gorilla Glass 5 is very scratch prone. Gorilla Glass 5 is very scratch prone. It's scratch prone more than Gorilla Glass 4. And I've had a lot of Gorilla Glass 5 phones to know that Gorilla Glass 5, for whatever reason, is very scratch prone. It's much tougher by the looks of it in terms of drops, you know, so that's one advantage. But for some reason, in terms of what they designed with Gorilla Glass, scratches are not good on it. Now the finishes on the OnePlus 6 look great. They do, you know, you've got the you know, the pearl white finish with the rose gold or the gold kind of frame. They're gonna have that for an exclusive 2 weeks limited offer since from the 5th of June in terms of release. You've got your you know, mirror black finish, and then you've got your midnight black finish. The midnight black finish definitely is the one for me. It's gonna handle fingerprints better. It kind of looks like a metal phone, you know, because they went through like 6 layers of finish and whatnot. So you've got the 3 colors there. The biggest thing that, one of the biggest things that stood out for me, for someone that does a lot of ultimate camera comparisons, and I look at the overall performance of a camera, not just based on photography, but in terms of videography, stabilization, selfie cam, like I try to look at a phone in terms of, you know, a complete look and package. And one thing that hurt me about OnePlus from when they moved to the 5 and the 5T is the omission of optical image stabilization. So that OAS physical hardware module that they negated really hurt them when it came to things like stable pictures. Maybe not necessarily videos, because OnePlus, and I've said this before, that OnePlus arguably probably has the best video stabilization on any smartphone, all the way up to 4K, probably matched by Google. They are probably the 2 companies that do video stabilization the best in the industry right now. So I've heard some stuff that with the OnePlus 6, when you're in video, it's using purely electronic image stabilization. It's not working in together with OIS. I don't know how true that is. If that's true, then I think that is also a missed opportunity, because Google does that with the OIS and the EIS together. And I think one thing, if OnePlus can get enough feedback from people that will camera test it, they can hopefully enable it. Oh, just a quick drop in. What's up, Roger? Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping in. Whoever's dropped in, just let me know if the background music and the audio from the microphone as you're hearing me is clear and good. But yeah, I'm just gonna carry on the discussion, because I don't necessarily want this live stream to be any longer than an hour 45 minutes, and kind of just share my thoughts on the OnePlus 6. So Bullets wireless on point. So OIS coming back is great. It does 4K 60 frames a second. I don't know if it's still gonna have that same 5-minute limitation that you get on the Samsung phones and the newer generation Snapdragon 845 phones, because Android phones for the longest time in terms of 4K 30 frames a second video recording have had that 10-minute limitation, which is something that really frustrates me personally. To the average consumer, they don't care. And I think what is so sad for me that is such a missed opportunity is how important video is in general. I think capturing videos as memories is so much more tangible for me. You know, like all the experiences that I have with my kids and stuff, you know, I'm always taking videos as well as pictures. So what's crazy for me is how sometimes video gets overlooked. It does 4K 60 frames a second. We'll clarify whether it records longer than the 5 minutes. It does 4K 30 as we expect. It does 1080p 240 frames a second slow motion, which is phenomenal. And then their version of super slow motion, which I think is a really good move. I think it's a really good move, because I think what they've done is they've balanced the buffer. Are we back? Are we back? Apologies. Are we back? Is it working? I hope I didn't lose you guys. Oh, sorry about this. Hopefully the stream this is sometimes the gift and the curse of doing live streams when things just go according to plan. When things go according to plan, I guess. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah, apologies for slight apologies for the slight technical glitch there. We should be back online. We should be back online. Apologies for the interruption. Internet disconnection there, which kind of sucks. So apologies about that. Yeah, so the video capabilities is so far in terms of what's, you know, it looks like the sensor size is bigger. The micron pixels are 1.22. So you've got a bigger sensor in there, f1.7. Basically the overall camera package in terms of hardware seems to be improved enough where it gives me hope. One of the biggest problems I had with the OnePlus 5T and the 5 is the dynamic range wasn't great. And I get it. I mean, a phone at that price, there was gonna be some compromises to, you know, the image signal processing and what the output of pictures would be. So dynamic range was something that was a problem. Low light, I don't know how good low light is going to be. I think the secondary lens, using it with the same focal length, is good because it's helping with depth mapping for portrait mode, but without the annoying zoom and crop that you get with the telephoto zoom ones like the S9 Plus and the iPhone 10, right? So you can actually get a good measurement of, you know, how you want to position it without being forcefully cropped in. So there's benefits to that, but the problem is using that second lens as a means of low light performance. I don't know. It's 20 megapixels. It's got smaller micron pixels at 1.0. It's gonna use what they did before with the whole pixel binning and tetracell, being able to just merge it together and try and simulate bigger pixels and low light. It didn't work when I tested it. When I tested it with the 5T, it didn't work. It didn't work for me, you know. So I don't know how well that's gonna work out in terms of, you know, low light performance. We'll see. I hope more of the low light performance is actually put on the main camera because of the OIS and the bigger pixels now. You know, I hope they put more emphasis on that rather than the secondary camera, and let that secondary camera be a means of detail fusion, and also being able to use it to help with portrait mode, you see. So that's something that, you know, I'm kind of more looking to as a positive. But so far the camera looks to hardware wise have improved enough for me to have hope in it. I really want to give it an ultimate camera test and put it on the channel 100%. So that stood out to me. What weirdly enough impressed me is the fact that I still don't like the notch design. I don't agree with using, again, I don't agree with using glass for the sake of glass without the functionality of wireless charging, because wireless charging, the convenience of when you need it, even if you don't use it all the time, makes me forgive the use of glass. Yo, what's up? Boston's finest in the house. What's good, homie? Tech time. The use of glass for the sake of glass, right? I'm still against it because, again, the scratches and the crackability of glass, irrespective of how elegant it looks as a material, you know, you've got companies like Honor and Huawei doing some crazy stuff with the glass back that really gives a nice aesthetic. I don't want to take it away from it. I don't want to undermine why glass is being used in terms of from an aesthetics point of view. Oh, Mams TB, it's been a while, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining the live stream. Coming and ranting. Concepts. We've done a collab on this, so you know. So my thing against the glass use for the sake of glass, I'm still against it. If it doesn't have the functionality of wireless charging, yes, there is not a rule book that says if you use glass you have to use wireless charging. It enables the ability to, don't get me wrong, it enables it, but I think if you can add it, it makes it more forgiving that you're using glass, because glass is just gonna crack. You're gonna have to put a case on it. You know, you're gonna have to put a case on it. Glass is gonna crack, and there's a big downside to that in retrospect, you know. So that's just something that my opinions are in that's what my opinions are in terms of glass, right? What surprised me more was, as much as I'm against the notch, it seems like 2018 is not just a copycat year, but it's about my notch is smaller. What amazed me over the G7 is how much better you can do a borderless display with an OLED panel. I've not seen the OnePlus 6 in person, but when I look at the videos compared to the G7, it looks like OnePlus have been able to get the side bezels a lot thinner on the left and the right side. Makes a difference. The top bezels have also been made thinner as well. And the bottom chin is a lot slimmer than I thought they were able to get it. That really shocked me. So, although for a fact that it's still a 1080p OLED display, or it's still a 1080p display from since the OnePlus One, people are going to say resolution doesn't matter. I get it. For me, it's an indication of it being a pro device or a flagship device if you're able to put that 1440p resolution display in there. That's just my opinion, right? I'm desperate to get, okay, agreed. I'm desperate to get my hands on with the Honor 10. No wireless charging there either. Would need a case for sure. Samsung did it for wireless charging. Just others just glass back. Some got cool effects though. Yeah, you see, like with back to what Roger's saying, I saw the what Honor have done with the Honor 10, the glass back effect. If you followed my Insta stories, it is so cool. I won't lie, it's so, like, when you turn it a certain way, it becomes a purple phone, and then as you're turning it, it goes through the strobe lighting effect. It looks like something out of a trippy sci-fi film, right? That kind of look and effect, I wouldn't want to put a case on it. So me putting a case on it, I'm basically just writing off all the effort that they've put into that design. You see, so I wouldn't want a case in it, you know. So you know, and the thing is, this is where I give props to Samsung, because the first time they went with a glass design back was the S6. The minute they went from the plastic designs straight to glass, they implemented wireless charging. You see, and even the Galaxy S5 that had the plastic perforated back, because of the removable back, what you could actually do is get a removable back case that had the wireless charging coil built in. So really, Samsung have been pushing wireless charging since the Galaxy S5, from what I can remember. I might be wrong, but I remember it from the Galaxy S5. You see, so that in itself is that discussion, but it's like wireless charging makes it more forgiving. But you see, OnePlus's implementation of the notch design, again, I still don't like the notch, because it's just not just because of software, but it's the whole copycatting, and it just looks like it's just an eyesore, right? But OnePlus, to me, visually did a much better job than LG. Even though LG, in some ways, actually have the superior technology in terms of display. The reason why I'm saying that, as good as OLED is, OnePlus is using an inferior version of OLED. They've calibrated it very well. It's a pentar matrix, so it doesn't have that same density as you get with the sRGB displays when it comes to the diamond matrix pentar arrangement that Samsung does, or the sRGB arrangement that you get on LCD panels, like what LG have done. LG have put effectively like a 3126 by 18, like it's almost like a, if we're gonna use 3K, it's like a wide version of a 3K display that they've put in the G7, right? It's a lot brighter as well, you see. But the problem is, it being an LCD panel, there's only so much you can do in terms of bending the display, molding the display, and having flexibility with the display. And the fact that because it's an LCD panel and it needs a complete backlight, that also adds thickness, and it adds a whole different dynamics to, you know, what you can physically do with it, right? So actually, LG's display, in terms of that borderless edge-to-edge notch design with that aspect ratio, doesn't look as good as OnePlus's, you know. And it really surprised me how I looked at the OnePlus 6 in videos, and I thought, they've not done a bad job. They've actually not done a bad job in doing that with it, you know. Even with all its drawbacks, they've calibrated it well, and they've done a better job than what LG have done, you know. So it's a toss-up. I really want to see both of them, you know, face to face, to see like which one actually reciprocates well. Let me look at some of the comments. Love the look of it. I have it in my butt. Let me look back. Yeah, it's cool. I miss the days of metal back and removable batteries, man. Yeah, LG V20. I was telling Concepts Creator about it, that LG V20 was probably one of the best at that, because it had a metal chassis but it was still removable, and you had a removable battery as well. I love the look of it. I have it in my basket right now, just don't know if I should buy it or not. So shiny. It's a very light phone. It doesn't have the heft and durability of some phones that you would see. It's very, very light in the hand. It fits well because it's got a good curvature. But it looks, that's probably one of the nicest looking glass phones that I've seen. So I give them that. That shimmery strobe lighting effect and color shifting effect on there is sick. It is sick. I give them that. That was just based on my hands-on with it. Aesthetically, it's very, very eye-catchy. It's very, very eye-catchy. Nafrotech, you can, if you can, that silver looked cool. Don't you dare start liking the notch. No, I don't like the notch, man. I don't. I think with what I saw from, supposedly Lenovo announced a phone that literally was all screen. I need to look at that properly as well. From it coming from a copycat point of view, I just don't like the notch. I can't bring myself to like it, and it's not a pride thing. I just don't like it. I don't like it. But did OnePlus do it better, or Vivo as well? OnePlus is Vivo's smaller. Yeah, of course. For the longest time, if you look at every single, because obviously they're under BBK Electronics, Vivo, Oppo, they're under that umbrella. They pretty much just base their R&D off that, because that's also a means of cost saving, right? That's also a means of cost saving, because this is how OnePlus, again, we're gonna get to how, for me, I really was impressed with the pricing. Very, very impressed with the pricing, actually. That's how they're able to keep the research and the development costs down, you know, so it doesn't come back into the phone, right? Hopefully Samsung don't go the notch route. Nah, they won't. Samsung are just big trolls, to be honest. Especially Samsung USA, they're such big trolls. LOL, I like shiny things, don't care about CPU and RAM. I'm only joking, of course, haha. Roger. Live shine is cool to shoot with, though. Makes videos look cool. Yeah, it does, presentation wise, aesthetically. This is what I mean about glass in itself. Is a very elegant product, and it's a very elegant material. The elegance of it is really up there, and probably things like ceramic come very close to it, you know. So what people like Honor and Huawei are doing with glass effect, it's really cool from an aesthetic standpoint, and I want to be open-minded and not take that away from them, because if you're trying to make your product look unique, you're gonna try and find different ways to do that, which is cool. It's just form over function, you know, form over function. So this is where it comes back to durability. durability, if I'm getting more function out of it, then I can forgive it being a bit more fragile. Wireless charging, you know, and I'm gonna be open and say that I don't have a wireless charger at home, but what I've noticed is my daily commute and all the places I go to now all have wireless charging. And I can't explain to you the convenience. It's a subconscious use case, right? I can't explain to you the convenience of not having to worry about pulling out a cable. I see a wireless charger and I just dump my phone on there and I'm using it, right? And while I'm even using it, or I'm on my laptop or doing something, I've got an extra 10-20% battery just by just putting it on there. And I have that in more places that I go to, you know, on my daily commute and at work. So that convenience is nice. Of course, like, people are making it to be like it's a deal breaker. It's not. We need to probably have this discussion of what are the things that are classed as deal breakers to people, like genuine deal breakers. Like when you see something that is on or not on a phone, it's classed as a deal breaker where it's like, no, I can't, you know. What is now a deal breaker? Because it just seems like people are so used to just getting used to stuff, right? So that's another discussion for another day. But, you know, on hand, let me go back to, so just notice something with your template overlay. It has to oh nah, concepts, you're a flipping troll, bro. You're such a troll. Very true, looks great in videos. I do have a wireless charger next to my PC. Since short using it is because new desktop setup is very easy. Oh my, there's 2 notches. Bravo, bravo, bravo. I think ZTE, I got that inspiration for ZTE because supposedly they wanted to do 2 notches on their phone. So the display, the display is a toss-up between the two. It's not, I don't think it's so obvious to say one is going to be better than the other. By looks, OnePlus have done a better job with the borderless design because their screen to body ratio, it's a lot better and it's a lot higher, and I can visibly notice it. So that will help. And then obviously, AMOLED, you know, your AMOLED panels having the high contrast ratio, the amazing viewing angles, and then the fact that they don't have the backlighting, that they can really get it closely laminated to the display. It really adds to that how colors pop because the screen is so close to the glass. You know, it really adds to the pop. And then obviously the deep blacks, because the pixels themselves are the light luminances, so it can turn on and off and get the true blacks. And then OnePlus also having a dark mode as well within the software, Oxygen OS. That's also going to add to that whole blending in, and how if you decide to turn off the notch, your LCD is not going to look as deep black as your, so that's a toss up. But the higher resolution, the consistent colors, not having to worry about, you know, your AMOLED burning or your OLED burning, you know, and you're genuinely getting a much brighter display because the maximum brightness output with LCD is more true and more genuine than you get on OLED panels, right? So there's a toss up there where possibly when you're using it in more situations, especially outdoors, the LG G7's display might actually hold up to be a lot better. We're gonna have to wait and see. If you can, try and get the OnePlus. Yeah. I like that white one. Limited. It's limited. You know, it's gonna be limited for. It's gonna be limited for 2 weeks supposedly, and I don't know. I'm in 2 minds whether it's gonna sell out or not. But if it doesn't sell out, I reckon they're gonna extend it. Are OnePlus always compromising on their screen quality? It's a give and take. The problem, I had this discussion before, Mams, that if you're not Samsung or Apple, don't expect to get a good OLED screen. Don't expect to get a good AMOLED screen. It's just not going to happen. It's 2 things. You go for a quad high definition AMOLED display like what, you know, ZTE or, you know, ZTE did with the Axon 7, right? It's quad high definition, but it was absolutely atrociously bad. Or you go for 1080p pentile display, which you can do good calibration to, but it's not as pixel dense, and it's not as sharp, and it's not as bright. You see, so when you decide to go for OLED or AMOLED as a person that is outside of the Apple and especially the Samsung family, there's going to be a compromise. It don't matter whether you're OnePlus or Huawei or whoever, there's going to be a compromise. That's the issue, you see. So that it's not really OnePlus. I don't blame them. Even Google's, look at Google. Google, as big as they are, they suffered that big problem with their OLED panels, right? The Pixel 2 didn't have that problem, but the Pixel 2 was because it was a smaller 1080p display. You see, so they could get a good panel out of that, right? But the quad high definition one, they must have went to LG because they couldn't really source the demand that Samsung was going to be able to supply to them for the Pixel 2 XL. Ended up being a rubbish OLED display. Even LG themselves for their G7 didn't go for an OLED. They went for an LCD because I don't know whether they didn't trust themselves or whatever the situation was, you see. So I don't blame OnePlus. It's a give and take decision making, you see. So well, LG was behind the Samsung pretty large margin. Oh boy. And it's weird. LG, I know the TV division to AMOLED or POLED displays are completely different, but LG themselves as an entity, when it comes to being an original equipment manufacturer for displays, they're very good. They make some of the best, next to Sharp, with their IGZO panels. LG makes really, really good displays. LG make fantastic displays. They've perfected, you know, IPS displays in their own right. And I think where it's kind of annoying for me is that the trend of high refresh rate panels hasn't really come into fruition like I expected. I really want to see phones with 120 Hz display panels, 90 Hz display panels. I want to see high refresh panels, you know. I'm waiting for the OnePlus 6 versus Pixel 2 XL camera, especially selfie camera. Yeah, hopefully I can get them. I've got the Pixel 2. I've got the normal Pixel 2 in house. That and the Pixel 2 XL, they have the same camera module front and back. If I can get the OnePlus 6, I'll do an ultimate camera comparison, and that will be on the channel. So I'll try and get that done. Coming from an LCD to a Samsung AMOLED, you are correct. There's no turning back. Yeah, you know, but it has to be Samsung because there's a monopoly. They're the only ones that can supply a high density resolution panel with pretty much amazing color rendition. You know, like it's Samsung if you go OLED, you know. So I don't blame LG for going LCD. I don't blame Sony for going LCD and not going AMOLED or OLED. It's the compromise is sometimes too high when you're going that route, you know. Let's check what's this. Nah, concepts. I'm gonna retweet that. Concepts is trolling me hard, you lot. He's oh my days, this is so peak. Samsung screens even in mid-range is awesome. Yeah. So this is where it's a toss-up. Dash charging and keeping the same battery size. I would have liked to see in a 3,500 milliamp hour battery personally. Something bigger than the 3T, because the 3T was their biggest battery capacity so far from what I remember. So I'd have loved to have seen them get to like 3,500 or 600, but at least they kept it the same. They didn't reduce it. And OnePlus really optimizes battery well. So that's one thing I trust them to do well. Dash charging is phenomenal. Like, dash charging is phenomenal. You know, it's based off the VOCC charging technology that you get from Oppo with VOOC charging, but it's over USB Type-C. Obviously, it's half proprietary. The downside to it being half proprietary is the fact that although it charges over USB Type-C, you need the OnePlus dash charging power brick and the cable. That USB cable is slightly thicker than normal to deal with the high wattage that comes through. You see, so you couldn't use a normal USB Type-C cable with the OnePlus dash charging power brick. You need the OnePlus dash charging cable as well. So it's a give and take, but that works really well. They said something about water resistance. And again, this is where the cost cutting is. I don't think they went for a proper ingress protection testing to get a certified IP rating on there, whether it was IP58, IP57, IP67, IP68, IP53. Man, I wrapped IP. They didn't. So please, I just reckon it's just, if they say everyday splashes, IP53. So no immersion. No immersion. Dude, you got to go though. Oh yeah. Dude, if you gotta go, you gotta go, man. We're doing a late one. It's just a quick impromptu. I'm trying to make sure that it's no longer than an hour. I had to head off too, Ben. I'll catch up with you soon. Wanted to say hi. Thanks, Roger. Have a good night. I know it's a late live stream. It's just a quick impromptu because I didn't do a live stream last week. So I just wanted to catch in and say hi to you guys and kind of share my thoughts on the OnePlus 6. What else? Still kept the headphone jack, bravo. Same for the LG. And LG will probably have an advantage because OnePlus didn't implement a dual speaker. So that's one missed opportunity as well, where there isn't a dual speaker implementation. Pick one: natural camera, Google, or high contrast. Google's not natural. Google's not natural at all. Google does a lot of heavy, high dynamic range plus HDR plus processing. So Google's not natural, bro. Not that it's a bad thing, but Google's not natural. Samsung in a lot of ways have gone for a flatter color profile now, especially when it comes to the selfie camera on the S9. So check my previous camera comparisons. Google's not necessarily natural. They just have really good dynamic range. They sharpen and they grade it well, and it looks very stylistic. So yeah, I think audio wise LG will win it because of the whole boombox technology. Their quad DAC in there will probably be a lot more impressive in retrospect. I think LG will win audio. Overall, as audio experience goes, I think LG will win it. So I'll give them that. OnePlus though, where I really geeked out with OnePlus is they marketed what they were talking about in terms of speed. OnePlus will definitely have not probably just the fastest Android phone, probably the fastest phone on the market, I reckon, because these guys optimize their phones to be absolutely fluid and speed demons. So I'll probably give performance to them because base model is 6 GB of RAM, and for me, I've used so many different phones in the Android space to know that the newer generation Android software phones with 4 GB of RAM as a flagship just ain't gonna cut it. In terms of performance over time, it's just not gonna cut it. OnePlus has a really good headphone jack. Yeah, no, OnePlus do. OnePlus's audio has been good from day. I'm just more looking at it from audio, from a complete package of speaker as well as headphone performance. I'll probably give it to LG because they've got the quad DAC tuning in there as well. So I reckon their digital to analog converter with LG is more dedicated. So, you know, I'll give it to them as an overall, you know, and just, you know, OnePlus not having any form of like acoustic or dual stereo speaker kind of effect compared to the boombox that, you know, LG are doing. I think audio overall will give it to LG. I'm trying to cut it down to the middle because LG right now are not looking to be in a good place, and OnePlus coming to undercut them. If you look at the SKU, you've got 6 GB of RAM, 64 GB of storage, dual SIM. Base model for the for the LG G7 ThinQ, you've got 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of storage, expandable memory. You see, dual SIM expandable memory. It's a toss-up, right? So it's not an outright win to the OnePlus. Where OnePlus wins is the fact that they've got the 8 GB of RAM with 128 GB of storage, and then they've got the 8 GB of RAM with 256 GB of storage. But the price, bruh, the price in the UK, that phone is £569. It's still less than £600, right? In the middle, where to me the sweet spot is the 8 GB with 128 gig storage with dual SIM, it's £520. Like, the price is phenomenal. And then every flagship phone needs to be judged from the starting price. Starting price on the OnePlus 6 is $469. In the UK, the starting price and the only price on the S9 Plus is 869. 869. 869. 869. And what I want to discuss is that 869, that £400 difference. What more phone am I getting? And I can state where the more phone you're getting on the S9 Plus differentiates the £400. But we have to have this conversation and kind of understand, for those differences, is it worth being charged an extra £400 or $400, just as translated that way, or 400 euros? Because euros, pounds, dollars, currencies are very similar in retrospect. Very similar. There's differences, but very similar, right? Let me go back to some of the comments. LG's selfie camera is like mid-range phone. No. If you've not been seeing the people that have the LG G7, LG seems to have really improved not just the megapixels, but whatever they're doing to the selfie camera on the G7 is looking impressive. That's another thing as well. LG seems to have really, just based on the initial samples that I've been seeing of the selfie camera on the LG G7, looks to have really improved when it comes to pictures, especially for portrait mode. So I'm eager to test that. I'm very, very eager to test that. I don't think it's as bad as what it used to be on the 5 megapixel sensors. I've been following a couple of people, Juan Carlos Bagnell, Michael Fisher, Mr. Mobile. Those guys have been using it, and the front-facing camera on the G7 is looking kind of hella sharp. It's almost looking, to my eyes, pixel sharp. So we're gonna have to, again, this is where sometimes you just have to wait till you get these phones to test it before you make a snap judgment to say that it's gonna be bad. We just don't know yet. But what I've been seeing is not necessarily, you know, it might not be what we think. It might be a lot better than what we think. The audio. Can OnePlus still label their phone as a flagship killer? Yeah. The market's changed. They can label it as a flagship killer based on their starting price. Their starting price minimum undercuts all the big flagship phones by minimum £300. Minimum £300. Some cases £400 to even £500. Right? You could buy two OnePlus 6s at base model price and have change left over from when you buy a starting price for an iPhone 10. Think about that. They can still call their phone a flagship killer. 100%. Yes, if you're still going to be looking at the OnePlus that had the OnePlus One at 16 gigabytes of storage, which no one bought, at $299, and you're looking at the base price of how it's increased by £169, right? Or so 260, wait. £169, right? Yeah, fine. The market has changed, unfortunately. And if we're looking at how they've increased their starting price from £300 to £470, £170 as a delta increase compared to what these companies have been doing with their £400 to £300 to £500 price hikes, your Apples, your Samsungs, and all these companies. I don't think OnePlus has done a bad thing. They can still be called flagship killers based on what you're getting. And this is not me coming from, if I'm going to be open, I'm probably more of a Samsung fan than anything, especially the Note. I'm probably more of a Note fan than anything, right? But you have to give credit where credit is due. They can still call their phones flagship killers, in my opinion, based on what you're getting, price to performance. See you soon. I wish phones just allowed you to choose. The Mate 10 allowed you to choose between high and natural saturation. It's the philosophy based on the original equipment manufacturer. It depends on the OEM and what their philosophy is in terms of control to doing it for you. It's a balancing act. It's just a philosophy of what the OEM is about. So audio is great for me. Yeah, LG will take that for sure. I think phones should only have 2 gigabytes. Shout out to Concepts Creator for being the troll of the night. Oh my days, bro. That is their forte, is the speed. Yeah, OnePlus phones are, and you know the thing is, it's not until you use a OnePlus phone until you realize how fast and fluid those things are. It's one of those things where someone telling you is one thing, you gotta touch it and use it. I'm telling you, OnePlus phones, seriously, I've always known at the back of my mind that they were fast, but when CarPay was on stage and it was talking about how they make their draw calls more efficient, where it's not unnecessarily pull it, like it boosts up the speed of the processor to maximum speed when it's opening and running certain, like all these managements behind the scenes and stuff. I like the fact he gave it an explanation. Maybe the nerd in me appreciated that explanation, because it made me know why their phones are so fast. They really make fast and fluid phones, like even faster than the Pixel phones. 100%. Now got a good reason why only 2 gig battery life, less apps running in the back. LG really screwed up by unveiling a phone and not pricing it. Yes, that's another thing I was talking about. This is where in terms of product execution, LG are hurting themselves, because everyone is in limbo in terms of pricing on this product. We don't know what the price is. None of us know what the price is on the LG G7. Not really. Yes, there's pre-orders in terms of, you know, your monthly contracts with your carriers or your networks, but no one knows what the outright price is in terms of the starting price when you're buying it cash, or if you want to buy it cash unlocked, what is the price? You know, so this is marketing hell from LG again. You know, they do this a lot, and unveil a phone and it's not ready to sell. Yeah, they really need to fix that. Exactly. LG is so screwed. They're screwed based on their product. Let's be fair. They're screwed based on their product execution, and in some ways that is more important in this market than anything, because there's a new Android phone every 2 weeks, whether it's mid-range, low-end, premium mid-range, flagship killer, flagship, where you have to sell your kidney to buy the flagship phone. There is a new Android phone every 2 weeks, right? Product execution is key in this dense market. LG still don't know what they're doing when it comes to product execution, and that's what's gonna hurt them. Dope. Nope, 750 was the price phone should have stayed at. Even 750 is too high. 750 is too high. I don't even agree with 750. 750 is way too high. Sorry, I don't even agree with 750. 750 is hella high. Nah. That's no. No. The only area that could have been implemented is dual speakers. I'm fine with the rest of what OnePlus decided to give the customer. Yeah, it's for the price. We're looking at it from the price point. And what they're doing in terms of what they're offering customers. The price talks. Price is a feature. Price is a hidden feature that talks, right? So for the price, definitely. But dual speakers is something that they could have done, and it wouldn't have been a hardware. It's more of like a software communication, you know. So I think they could have done dual speakers personally. Dope setup. The thumbnail was lit too. Oh, safe, bro. Prod walks in the house. What's good, fam? Why not give the OnePlus 64 gig out and then expandable storage? Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean about the demographic. Do you prefer expandable or do you prefer dual SIM? In some phones, like in the UK, if you buy your Samsung S9 flagship directly from the Samsung store, it comes as a duos version. So it has the hybrid SIM card slot where you can either choose to have expandable storage or dual SIM, but that's only if you buy directly from Samsung. The networks and the carriers in UK don't support that. They only have the standard SIM expandable storage.